All right, happy holidays out there. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Digital Dreams 321. I'm your host, Quentin Howe. Today we're going to be talking about why I went to Sony, went to Blackmagic, then went back to Canon. Crazy, I know.
What you want me to do? I'm sorry. I'm back. Let's go get him,
So thank you guys for continually supporting my channel, tuning back in. It's been a long time since I posted something, but it's because I've been so busy in the industry, trying to make money in the industry, obviously, and trying to make waves in the industry. So I haven't had a lot of time to be on my YouTube channel, posting things and producing a little bit of content for this channel. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dropping the quality of this channel, the production quality, as far as having, you know, a lot of production quality in it, but I'm going to be putting a lot more information and just getting the information out. So a lot of times it might not be inside of a studio setting. Sometimes it might be running guns. Sometimes it might be even cell phone video, but I just want to get you guys out the information. So getting right into it, the question at hand is, why did I go over to Sony? Number one, leaving Canon, going over to Sony. Well, number one, Canon came along with the T2i or the 550D, and they actually put 1080p quality video inside of the camera bodies. Now, I know this was like an add-on. From what I read, it's an add-on that Canon sort of threw in there. It wasn't really a choice that they made to sell the cameras initially as video cameras. They just had the video capability inside of them. Over the years, they began to cripple this line of camera. So Panasonic came out with the GH4, Sony came out with the A7S, and you had a lot of competition. You had even Samsung coming out with the NX1, and you had a lot of other manufacturers coming out with cameras that could do a lot more for even cheaper prices. So I said, let's go over to the A7S, let's go over to Panasonic. So I ended up getting a GH4, which is the camera that I'm filming on right now, and it's like my workhorse. This is like my bread and butter camera. I will always use this camera for every shoot I do. It is very capable. The only crippling part about the GH4 is that the low light capabilities above 1600 or 3200 ISO, they're sort of grainy. So I went over to the A7S because of that, because the A7S is noted as the world's, it was basically the see in the dark camera. It can see basically almost in the dark, or it can see almost better than your naked eye. So I went for that camera because I do a lot of run and gun shoots. And it's a great camera if you do event kind of things, like you're at a wedding or at a club or in low light events, and you don't have ways to set up lights, set up lights and have the whole scene set up properly. You can use that camera and it can help you out so dramatically that it's like it is the best camera for that. Although, this is where I came into a problem. The menu system on the A7S is just atrocious. It's too hard to get through the menu systems. When I was working on productions, I was trying to use the camera. It was already too small, for productions. As long as you already have a reputation, you can sort of use anything you want. I don't already have a reputation per se that's that big that I can just come in there with an iPhone and whatever I shoot is just, everybody just believes in it and they love it. Right now I'm at the point to where I still have the image to uphold. I don't want to come in with a camera that anybody can get off the streets. I want to come in with something that looks production ready. A7S didn't have that quality. Even though you rig it up and you add accessories and stuff to it, it becomes cumbersome. And I don't want to be on a shoot where everything is cumbersome. So I went to the extreme side because I couldn't afford a red camera, which most of us shoot for. I went for the Blackmagic production camera. That camera is about $3,000, brand new, but you can get it for about $2,000, even less, depending on who's selling it and if you find a good deal at a certain time. So I ended up trading my A7S for a Blackmagic production camera. It was a 4K production camera. Now with that, it was a great camera. Don't get me wrong, it was an awesome camera, but it's a true production camera. You need lights, audio, separate. You need everything for production. You need a crew. It's not just a run and gun camera. So I was able to get great footage in daylight. Obviously running gunning in daylight is great to just gather footage, but as far as audio, the audio preamps inside of the body is horrible. The form factor isn't great. You have to rig it up to make it real proper. So it just was very cumbersome, like I said. And I didn't, most of the bulk of my work is paid work. I don't do a lot of free stuff anymore because I'm not at that level anymore. My time is just too valuable now that I have to charge for what I do. So I needed a camera that the workflow was good, it wasn't cumbersome, and it had everything built into it. So that's when I had to realize that I needed something different than the Blackmagic 4K camera. So what I did, ended up selling it on eBay, and I got most of the money that I wanted for it. So I went over and found the guy who was getting rid of one of his C100s. So he got rid of the C100s and he, sold it to me. And once I got it, the quality was outstanding. It wasn't, let me put it like this, it wasn't Blackmagic quality, 4K quality. But however, it was good enough for everything that's on TV, everything that's out right now. So the thing that really sold me on it is that it just had everything built into it. It had the professional XLR audio inputs for the shotgun mic, as well as an extra wireless mic, like I have it right now. I have a lapel mic, and then I have the receiver on top of the camera, and then the XLR into the side of the camera, and you actually can adjust the volumes as needed. Also, it has autofocus. Now, this is one thing that we have been lacking on a lot of our cameras to actually work properly, is that they have autofocus on this particular version. This is the one with the dual pixel autofocus. So you're able to get autofocus from the center, the very center of the frame. Now, it's not great for, framing per se, but you can do one-touch autofocus. You can push one button on the front bottom, and it'll autofocus on that center portion, and then you can reframe after that. So it's invaluable on that end. Another thing that was invaluable is neutral density filters. Now these things, if you're just starting off, you're gonna think, I don't need neutral density filters. But I'm telling you, once you become a professional and you start doing this for a living, you're gonna absolutely need neutral density filters, because you're gonna want sometimes a certain shallow depth of field. You're gonna wanna maintain a certain shutter speed. And if you don't have a neutral density filter, you're not gonna be able to achieve that without cheating or taking the shutter speed higher in order to get the proper exposure. Now, it has it built in. It has 6 stops of neutral density filters. Getting to another point, the ease of use. You don't have to rig it up. It has a side handle, has the record button right on the side handle. You can hold it with the second hand, stabilize it. It's just easy to use. In the post-production, although it's AVC HD and it's not MOV, MOV is usually easier to work with in post. AVC HD is smaller file sizes, and you get almost the equivalent amount of quality out of it. And I say almost because it's not quite there. However, when it comes to delivering this product, this 1080p, it only does 1080p, it doesn't do 4K. And that was another thing that actually was an issue. When I was doing 4K, the file size is just large and massive, and then you can do 4K RAW on the Blackmagic production camera. The file size is just too massive, and I wasn't getting paid enough to work that hard in post-production. And that's the one area you do not want to spend that much time in, if you don't have to, is because customers never see post-production. They never see you working in the editing room. They never see the hours that it takes. For every hour you shoot, you're working like 5 or 10 hours in the editing room. And people really don't understand that, and they really don't even care, as long as you produce a good product. So the C100 has been able to do that. It's been able to cut down my post-production time, which in essence makes me more money over the long run, because I don't have all this processing time it takes to process it. I don't have my computer crashing because it's dropping frames and things like that. And just an easy overall camera to use. People say I need a 4K camera because it's all the buzz and the 4K TVs and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. The content isn't out there. Give it 4 more years, give it 3 more years, maybe, we'll be there, all the content will be there. But right now, it's honestly really not there. So it's really not advantageous for a person in business to go there. because you don't always want to be on the bleeding edge of technology when you're in business, because you want to make profit. And if you're on the bleeding edge of technology, every time a new camera comes out, you have to acquire it or sell something old, you'll be playing that game forever. So I actually got out of that game. So I'm stuck with the GH4, the C100, and the A6000. Now, they're great cameras in all regards. However, there are cameras that's gonna come out that's cheaper, better, faster, what may have you. But the essence of the story is that if you make a name for yourself and your quality is there, it doesn't really matter what camera you use, because all cameras right now are within a margin of about, 20% of quality difference. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a huge difference, even from an iPhone to, and I don't want to, get thumbs down on this one, but even from an iPhone to maybe a Blackmagic, maybe even, as long as you're not moving it around. I mean, obviously it's not comparable in a production sense, but in the quality sense of just sitting two cameras side by side, iPhone 6 and maybe a higher end camera, it's not that big of a difference, honestly. Now production, obviously, it's huge differences, because you have tools inside of the higher end camera that you can use to get a better, overall production package. But my point is that I had to go backwards. I had to back up a little bit, because I was going too far forward and I wasn't making profit. And if you're doing this for a business, you always want to make profit. So I talked a lot. I said a lot of things. So I'll put a little bit of footage. I'll probably put 10 seconds of footage of the, the Blackmagic 4K camera, and I'll put it next to the C100, and I'll give you guys side by side. You guys see if you can tell. And like I said, it's not gonna be that big of a quality difference. Anyway, I hope you guys have fun this holiday season. Next year, 2016, gonna be some great stuff that's gonna be released. Stay tuned. Thank you guys again. See you next time.